How's it going, and welcome back to the North Lake Sports Podcast. My name is Noah, and today I'm flying solo to break down my personal MLB power rankings. It's about mid-June right now, and here we go. So I'm just going to break down my top 10 teams. So 10th, I have the Phillies. Phillies are a very interesting team where, they have a few of the veteran pitchers that are starting to come along, but their lineup is what really scares people with Bryce Harper, Rhys Hoskins, Gene Segura. I mean, this lineup is something that should be scary, especially with JT Realmuto and other guys like that. And the thing about the Phillies is they're kind of cooling off. They started off sort of hot, and they got beat by my personal Atlanta Braves. And they're playing the Nationals right now. I think they need a bounce back before they get to the All-Star break. This team is definitely has the potential to be a playoff team that could go far, but as of right now, they're kind of sitting there at that 10 spot. Moving on to number 9, I have the Red Sox. Boston Red Sox, as we all know, started off very slow. They kind of, limped into the season after a World Series victory. They have a solid rotation, but those guys are just all got a year older. And Chris Sale, David Price, Rick Porcello, those guys, all kind of having a down year, all right? And Mookie Betts obviously having a decent year, Xander Bogaerts. This team has playoff experience, and if they make the playoffs, they could definitely make a deep run. And especially now since they're kind of heating up, it's a team to watch out for. 8th, I have the Brewers. The Brewers are another kind of interesting team. Their starting rotation is one of the weakest in this top 10 list in general. They obviously have Hader to anchor the bullpen as their closer, but this lineup with Lorenzo Cain, Christian Yelich, Moustakas Braun, Jesus Aguilar, that's scary for any pitcher to go up against. This team obviously made the playoffs last year. They're kind of a few struggles, but I definitely think that this team, they should make a move at the deadline, maybe trade away one of their veteran sluggers like Moustakas and, build a starting rotation, or else this team might drop out. Next team I want to cover is the Chicago Cubs at 7. It's a solid team all around, and with Almora and obviously Chris Bryant and Anthony Rizzo, this team kind of disappeared for a year or two after they won the World Series, breaking that 100-plus year drought, and they're kind of back. They have a solid team, obviously trying to gear up, and they got Craig Kimbrell to help their bullpen. I mean, this team is super solid. They're definitely going to make a run, and they have playoff experience, which is super important in the playoffs, and I think they're going to go a long way. All right, 6th, I have the Tampa Bay Rays. Personally, I have no idea how this team is so good. They're second in the AL East. They're probably going to make the playoffs, barring anything terrible happen. They just have a bunch of okay guys. If you were to ask the average baseball fan, name 3 Rays players, no one's going to do that. No one can do that. No one can, people might know Kiermaier and I guess Blake Snell, Cy Young candidate. But outside of that, there's just not a lot going on right there. They hit decently well. They have a solid rotation, but I think they're going to falter, which is why I only have them at 6. They could be higher. I don't know. I don't think they're going to come out on top. I think the Red Sox are actually going to take over their spot, and obviously the Twins will make it, which are coming up later on my list, but they're going to have a kind of an uphill battle to deal with. Next at number 5, I have my Atlanta Braves. I think as of right now, it is one of the top 3 scariest lineups to go against. You have to be right on your game at the beginning, facing Ronald Acuna Jr. and then obviously Dansby, Freddie, Donaldson. This team obviously might need a closer. Luke Jackson has blown a few saves in recent memory. Another starter would be helpful to add on top of Dallas Keuchel. But this team, obviously, a younger team with, I think, like 9 or 10 guys who are under the age of 25. And they just have to, I don't know, grow up. Like last year it was their first time going to the playoffs in a while. And that learning experience definitely helped, especially adding Josh Donaldson, who I actually think will be traded by the deadline for some pitching help and other stuff like that. And you have Charlie Culberson off the bench. I mean, I could talk about the Braves all day. All right, moving on to the Twins. So Twins is a team that just mashes and churns out runs like nobody's business. Almost every game, they just get like 4 or 5 runs easily. That's almost a guarantee every single night out there for the Minnesota Twins. And they're running away with the AL Central, And I don't see any way where the Twins don't make it past the first round, because the Twins would probably play another division foe like the Astros, the Yankees, and that's obviously a tough uphill battle. But this is a team that I think could make a move, but won't be a team that's going to scare people. All right, moving on to the top 3. Now, these 3 teams, I think, are your World Series favorites, and if you were to put money on any of these teams, it's kind of a fair bet. Like, one of these teams is definitely going to make the World Series, no doubt about it. All right, so third, I have the Yankees. Now, the Yankees, I think, are going to be the best team in baseball when they get their full lineup back. I mean, this team has so many sluggers who can just destroy the ball. Everyone knows who they are. Luke Voit, Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Hicks, and now Cameron Maybin coming out of nowhere, hitting, I think, 4 home runs in every game for the past 4 days. Gleyber Torres. I mean, obviously, with Ottavino, Britton, and Chapman, that's a pretty solid 7, 8, 9. This team is very solid, and once they get, Aaron Judge back and Kendrys Morales back and Troy Tulowitzki, I guess. I mean, this team, and when Giancarlo Stanton kind of gets into the groove, this team is going to be a team to beat. All right, so the second best team on this list is going to be the Houston Astros. I know a lot of people have this team as number 1, but in my opinion, they're just a notch down at second, because they're obviously dealing with a few injuries, and their team has a great starting rotation with Verlander and Cole and Wade Miley. I mean, this team has a bunch of solid guys. Obviously, Jose Altuve, all-star. Alex Bregman probably going to be an all-star. And Brantley and Reddick and all those solid guys. But I don't get it. I don't see them going super. I think they're going to lose to the Yankees in the ALCS. I think the Yankees are going to make it back to the World Series, but lose the number 1 team, which I'm guessing you all figured out, was the LA Dodgers. So the Dodgers, obviously, I think this is the most complete team. This team literally has everything. They have a solid rotation with Kershaw and Hyun-Jin Ryu, who's having a NL Cy Young Award winning year. They have the second best bullpen ERA, just behind the Rays. And up and down the lineup, you have solid hitters all throughout. You have Cody Bellinger's having MVP year. You have Jock Peterson, great year. Max Muncy, who can hit well. Jacob Turner. This team, in my opinion, is definitely the favorite to win the World Series. And I mean, that's going to wrap it up for my top 10 for the MLB Power Rankings in middle of June. Now moving on to the NBA Draft, segue seamlessly. Obviously, NBA Draft is coming up. It's tomorrow, actually, recording this on June 19th. And we have some interesting trades that have already happened. Quick review real quick. Obviously, the big one, Anthony Davis to the Lakers for Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, and some picks. We got Taurean Prince and a 2022 second-round pick, and the Hawks get the 17th overall pick this year's draft. And then recently today, not necessarily an NBA draft trade, but Mike Conley heading to the Jazz for Grayson Allen, Jay Crowder, Kyle Korver, and a 2022 pick, some later pick that's going to be named later. But I'm gonna talk about the headline one real quick with Anthony Davis. In my personal opinion, Anthony Davis, obviously, he's a generational type talent. I think he's going to finish a top 20, maybe in top 15 NBA player of all time. He can literally do anything. He can shoot the ball, he can space well, he can rebound, he can block. He fits with LeBron. LeBron and Anthony Davis are literally a PB&J. They're going to fit so together in LA. But, the Lakers gave up so much. They gave up Lonzo Ball, who obviously is going to develop, and they gave up Brandon Ingram. I think Brandon Ingram is going to develop into be kind of a surprising player that people are going to say like, oh, maybe they should have kept him. But not only that, they threw in the number 4 draft pick, which was kind of expected. Draft lottery got lucky. But then they gave up 2 more first-round picks. And one of the draft picks will be in 2021, and one of them will be 2023. The 2021 one is a swap best protected one, and that pick could roll over to 2022, which is the super draft, where it's high school players and college players. That's the first year where high school guys can go straight to the NBA. This is riskier than the Kawhi Leonard trade, no question about it. The Lakers are all in on LeBron's last 2 years of him being good and Anthony Davis's prime. Anthony Davis is going to bring the Lakers. I mean, they're obviously going to go to the playoffs. As of right now, if, obviously Kawhi Leonard we don't know where he's going. There's other free agents like Tobias Harris, Kevin Durant, Kemba Walker, all those guys are going to go all over the place. But as of right now, the Lakers are obviously the favorite. They're going to have more cap space, so they can try to get a Jimmy Butler or Kemba Walker, or they can get some role guys like Steph Curry, Steph Curry is super sneaky. One of the best 3-point shots, catch and shoot in the league. So that definitely be a good asset. They just need a bunch of I think they need another star and maybe a few more just role guys glue guys, missing pieces type people. So like Danny Green. If Sean Livingston doesn't retire, then maybe him. They just need a bunch of guys to make their team a lot fuller. The other 2 trades, Hawks getting rid of Taurean Prince. Obviously, the Hawks are probably going to try to get a wing in this draft. Taurean Prince doesn't really fit their play style. He doesn't play a lot of defense. And the Atlanta Hawks took on a max contract from Alan Crabb, which means the Nets are clearing cap room for Kyrie Irving for sure. I think 95% chance he's going to Brooklyn, and possibly Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's obviously interesting because he's injured. I think if I were Kevin Durant, I'd go to the Knicks, because the Knicks obviously is going to sit out next year, most of it, if not all of it. And the Knicks are obviously going to tank next year. Well, not tank. They're not going to be good. They're going to be kind of garbage. They're going to kind of whatever. And they're going to get another young guy. RJ Barrett's going to get another year. All these other young assets that they have are going to get another year. And then Kevin Durant will be able to lead that team. And maybe another superstar comes back. I know the 2020 free agent class, there's not a lot going on, but it's give and take type deal. And the way I see it personally is that Brooklyn, if they get Kyrie and KD, that's going to be a mess. Kyrie is obvious. I think Kyrie's a good 1B type player, where he's a really good supporting player. That's why he was awesome on the Cavs. That Cavs team was amazing with LeBron and Kyrie and Kevin Love, because Kyrie knows how to be. Kyrie's role should be a solid point guard who can help a wing or a great big man. And I personally think that he's going to go to Brooklyn. I think that team is going to be a train wreck, and they're going to be maybe 5th or 6th seed. Obviously, D'Angelo Russell's going to go somewhere else. They're going to have Joe Harris, Karis LeVert. They're going to have a solid team, but I just don't think Kyrie Irving isn't really the future. Anyways, back to the draft real quick. We obviously had Joseph and JP over on the first episode to do a mock draft. That went well. And I'm just real quick, a few more things. The Pelicans are probably going to trade their 4th pick Probably maybe to the Hawks. I heard that they're thinking about doing 8 and 10 for 4. I personally don't like that. I'd rather have 8 and 10 because at 8 the Hawks are probably going to take a wing, either Reddish, Hunter, or Culver, and moving up to 4 just trade away your 10. That just doesn't really make sense to me. And at 8 and 10, they could probably take 8 would be a wing, and 10 they'd probably take Hayes or Bol, whoever they like more. I think they're going to take Hayes, which I think is not the best for a 6'11 guy who. He's a bit of a rim protector, but he doesn't get a lot of boards for someone who's 6'11". And I just don't think that the Hawks are going to... I don't think they're going to... I don't think they should trade 8 and 10 because the way that their lineup works right now is they definitely need another guy to help Trae. Because Trae Young usually dribbles up the ball and gets double-teamed immediately. And he's forced to pass it to Herter, who's not good at ball handling or passing it or whatever. And John Collins obviously don't want him to step up because you want him to be kind of like in the wing post area. So I think I really like Culver. Hunter's a good second option. I wouldn't mind Reddish. Honestly, any of those 3 guys are fine with me. I'd go Culver, Hunter, Reddish because I think Culver's going to be really good. I think it's going to be like Paul George type deal where he's a two-way player who can lock down. He can shoot the ball very well. He's a plug-and-play type guy where DeAndre Hunter's second on that list because he can play defense. He fits in the Hawks system very well. And Cam Reddish is a bit of a project because we don't really know what you're getting because he played with Zion and RJ. And Zion, we obviously know how good he is, and RJ as well. And the Hawks offered 8 and 10 for 3, which I thought would be interesting because RJ Barrett's kind of in a new tier of wings compared to Culver, Hunter, and Reddish. If the Hawks had RJ, I wouldn't mind seeing a trade for 3 for 8 and 10. Like, that would be okay with me. But 4, that's the next tier of players. I just don't think that's worth it. Couple quick notes to close it out for the NBA draft. I'm going to do some bold predictions. I personally think the Hawks are going to trade up to 5, and they're going to trade with the Cavs, and they're going to do like 8 and 17 maybe. I think the Pelicans are going to get a better offer from the Wizards. I think Wizards might be able to take... I think the Wizards are going to trade Bradley Beal for the number 4 pick and some other stuff so they can kind of rebuild their team because the Wizards are a mess. And Pelicans would obviously move down to 9 in that situation. Another bold prediction is Bol. I think he's going to go higher than people expect because he's obviously a guy he literally has everything except for he's injury prone. He's 7'3", can shoot the ball, he can rebound, he's a rim protector, but he's so injury prone. It's like, why risk it? I want the Hawks to take him at 10 because I feel like that risk is worth it. Having 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks. Oh, by the way, I don't think the Hawks are going to use all 6. But that's besides the point. The Bol should go in the lottery. If he doesn't go in the lottery, that would be super surprising. And I think if people don't draft in the lottery, they might regret it because he's going to be a presence in the league early. But then again, Mo Bamba obviously had a rough first year with dealing with injuries, and we saw how that went. So Bol, hopefully it doesn't happen to him. And I'm excited for the draft tomorrow. It's going to be exciting. Again, next episode is going to be with me, JP, and Joseph. We're going to do post-draft coverage, and we're going to review over, free agency, preview that. And that's going to do it. Thanks for watching the North Lake Sports Podcast.